We have the pledge. What's in the
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do you have any comments from the audience today? Can we, just one other question, can we change that standing agenda item to public comment? Something like that. Audience kind of sounds like they didn't hear the launch us participate. Okay, hearing none, let's move on. Do you have any corrections to the agenda or the consent calendar? Board members want to pull any items from consent for discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? I'll move the consent calendar. I'll second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Motion passes unanimously.
For the record, there's only a yes button.
Oh boy, this is causing all kinds of problems.
All right, so we don't have any items on the file, so let's go to item 6A.
Yes, item 6A. Liz is on a well-deserved vacation in Costa Rica, so she asked me to present this item on her behalf. We have before you the general manager agreement for professional services. The executive committee has negotiated this agreement with Paul Hughes, and there were a few minor changes that the executive committee made. Section 4 to the terms, Section 5B conference attendance, Section 6A district vehicle, and item 8A termination. The agreement has also been reviewed by Attorney Collins, and so we also have on the agenda today a closed session item to the board wishes to go into closed session and discuss anything privately. Otherwise, if this is approved today, it can be approved today. So it's effective immediately. Are there any questions of the board?
I'll just say, the executive committee looked at this saying, very simple agreement, straightforward, does not vary substantially from the previous one. The requested initial pay is reasonable, we thought, and really all the language is very reasonable. So we're very happy with the agreement. And as to the selection of all, we talked about that last time, but out of 91 candidates, it was narrow. We interviewed 4, and the board was unanimous in selection of Paul to begin negotiations. So we're happy to get to this point, and just speaking for myself, I'm happy with the agreement as it stands.
Well, I just wanted to express my appreciation to the executive committee for kind of running the hard work on getting an initial agreement together. I did take a look at it, and I had really no issues with it. I think these caused a couple things that I would have brought up, so definitely appreciate that. Appreciated the process itself, and I think it was very diligent. We had a lot of internal candidates, and I really appreciate that. I think it says a lot about the district and the caliber of folks that we're developing and have on our staff, so I definitely want to acknowledge that. And so I'm pleased with where we've landed in our eyes.
I agree.
Very good. What's the request action?
Okay, staff is asking for the board to approve the general manager agreement for professional services between South Tahoe Public Utility District and Paul Hughes for the position of general manager commencing August 17, 2023.
I'll move to approve. And I'll second. Any discussion? Very good. And there's that yes button. All right, congratulations. Shelley put a news release out, and I would think something in Aqua News, in the,
Yeah, CASA and maybe the special districts.
yes, CSDI. Very good. Well, congratulations or condolences. Yeah. You're right. All right, let's go to, Sam and AD-HOC committees. Starting with Sammy.
Kelly.
Kelly.
No, we never have.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm always called Shelley because of she and Kelly. They work together.
I know, yes, sorry.
No worries. But I have that.
I'm just going to report on the executive committee meeting we just had prior to the meeting here, just to kind of go through some of the, I guess, outstanding remaining transfer of legal issues that still are kind of a frailty and moving over to the attorney. And I'll hand off the office meeting that we had. And Nick, I think it was his first time down there, so I thought he'd have an opportunity to provide impressions.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add, I did ask our new counsel to evaluate my conflict of interest on the Keys matters. He has affirmed the previous opinion on that, and so I will continue to recuse on that one.
Yeah, I just wanted to report on the operations committee meeting. We did take a tour down to Valley Ranch. It was my first time down there to see the breadth of operations that are going on down there. So I just was really impressed with the operation down there. It was pretty significant and incredible progress, especially with the fire, then the winter storms, and the progress has been made to keep that place up and running and serviceable. It's been pretty miraculous. So I definitely want to commend not only the DVR team down there, but I know Trevor has been spending a lot of time down there, and I appreciate that. So definitely got a great tour. Thanks, Chris and Julie and Trevor and Jason down there for really kind of plugging me into what's the value of that operation. It's significant. So definitely we discussed in the meeting itself, an operations meeting itself that we had in the ranch house. Is making sure that we're staffing that operation appropriately, what it takes, because it is kind of a skeleton crew down there right now, but they are doing great things with pretty light resources, and so just balancing that against all of our other needs, obviously. But it was excellent to be exposed to that, and I appreciate it. So, and then basically other agenda items, we really got a lot of updates on a lot of existing projects, a lot of great progress. Repairs to Stanford Camp, electrical facility is moving along pretty quickly, and so I'm making sure we're getting through permitting and getting that awarded and contracted, trying to get that in before next summer. And then just various other updates that I don't think I'll spend time on now, but definitely appreciate the site visit.
So just to add, just really quickly, we did have a record number of, water leaks in July. So just hats off to the crew for keeping on top of that. Thank you.
Okay. Board members, any other reports that you comment on? All right, let's go on to the staff and adjournment report.
Good afternoon, board members. It's been a busy couple of weeks for legislative work with the Cabinet Summit coming to town. So just wanted to provide an update. So the day before the summit, we participated in the pre-summit tour. We took legislative staff to see a fire car down to Emerald Bay, to Sugar Pine, as well as East Bay. The first stop was right outside of Calgary City, where the Washoe fire had hit, blanking on the year, but it was close to the same year as the Angora fire. And the two speakers there were the fire department as well as the water agency. So Tahoe Fire really highlighted the role that water infrastructure plays in that particular fire. It was surrounded by a private water company who didn't have backup power, so when the power went off, their pumps went off, and there was no water below to fight that fire. So they really highlighted how water infrastructure can make a big difference. And then the water agencies talked about, you know, the need for state and federal funding, with over 80% of the basin being federal land, to really accelerate the pace and scale of getting those projects in the ground. So on the tour, I was able to connect with Congressman Kylie's regional DC staff, as well as Senators Padilla, Feinstein, and Alvarado Dale staff. Our federal lobbyist, David French, was in town as well, and it was great hearing Senator Padilla's staff joke that the water speech sounded like it was written by David. It wasn't, it just shows that he's giving that same message by David French, our lobbyist. It just shows that, it shows that he's in their ears in DC, and we're saying the same message on our tour. So it was a really productive day. I'd say almost more so than the summit, because we have to dive in with some staffers. The summit this year was right on the lake in Kings Beach. It was absolutely a beautiful day. Pelosi was the keynote speaker. We had a Tahoe Water for Fire Suppression Partnership booth with Tahoe City and North Tahoe PD, and we were right next to Tahoe Water Suppliers Association's Drink Tahoe Tax booth. So, you know, big message of our exceptional water quality and the need for upsizing water infrastructure. For me, the highlight of the summit was that Congressman Kylie, in his speech, this was his first summit, in his first speech, he called out our Pioneer Trail waterline project by name as one of the projects on his earmark list, which is just spectacular. That shows that we've been building this relationship with him and his staff, and when he touts his accomplishments in Tahoe, that is one of them. So that's awesome. Director Hayden was also there. Is there anything you want to add about the summit?
No, I thought the booth presence was great. I appreciated it being like a partnership booth. And like Sean Barkley was there, and NTPD. So it really galvanized partnership. And some of the legislators actually making around. I saw, John AD-HOC was around. So it actually did get a lot of exposure, which is great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think keep up the effectiveness. I agree with you. I think the messaging and getting on the radar with Congressman Kylie is excellent. And I think he'll be a good champion for us to keep continuing to work that relationship. Yeah,
that's right. Gary Mundy came to our booth, and then NPR came to our booth also and interviewed Justin Broglio with North Tahoe PD in high, so I haven't heard that radio clip, but maybe it's coming. And then on Friday, Forest Supervisor Eric Walker invited me to attend a meeting with the House Appropriations Officer, Courtney Stevens, who was in town. She oversees the Forest Service budget for the House, so it's in a really important seat. She has family that has a cabin right off Pioneer Trail, so has a really personal connection to our community, and her parents had to evacuate during the Caldor fire, which is really nice. Lots of folks in DC have never been to Tahoe, don't really have that connection. So I was able to highlight the deficiencies in Tahoe's water systems when it comes to fire and the important role that federal funding plays in getting this project in the ground. She really encouraged us to gain the support of our delegation. That's how she raised her budget when the Congress members are talking in her ear, which is spectacular, because Congressman Amade is one of our most vocal supporters. He came at the end of that meeting, and I was able to rouse him a little bit, and then Congressman Kylie, even though new to the office, is also becoming a great support as well. Yesterday, I was up in Auburn with some of our California Tahoe Alliance members, attending a listening session with Assembly Member Garcia. He's the author of the climate bond on the Assembly side. They're hoping to maybe get that climate bond on the March ballot. We will see. who knows? But the good news is that the bond includes our desired language that explicitly expands grant eligibility to include water for fire suppression infrastructure projects in these high fire risk areas. So that's kind of our issue with the state. We're just hole in the donut funding these water for fire projects. So it was really an opportunity to just think in and staff. Our representative is Megan Valley, and she's spectacular and a big supporter, but she is a Republican in a democratically controlled delegation, and so it's great to have Garcia's support for Tahoe and some of our issues, and he's moving and shaking. And then coming up, after the tour, I followed up with Kylie's staff. After the summit, I followed up with Kylie's staff to say, hey, come back up to Tahoe. Let's show you things. We're not just in Tahoe, we're in Alpine County. So the field rep for Alpine County and I have been working together, and he's planning on touring our DVR facility on August 31st. In the middle of the day. I had reached out to Dave. He's not available to attend, so if any of you would like to attend, let me know, and I'll shoot you the invite. We're going to have a pre-planning meeting to make sure that we're not only just showing the ranch, but having specific asks and continuing to build that relationship. That's it for me.
So before we go, when you do have that meeting out at TDR, I assume that Tamarack is going to be a big topic. Tamarack is flown completely under the radar. Nobody talks about it. I don't think anybody in a policy position even know it happened. Or at least they've all forgotten. But for us, it was a big deal, and we need to kind of highlight just how, damaging it was. And it might be a good idea just to drive over the hills, south, toward the market, just go a little ways, and make far before you see the complete devastation on the way to market. Yeah. But the other thing is just, there's a major policy issue with Forest Service on that, whether to put a fire out. And I don't know if Forest Service has resolved that, but Tamarack was the victim of indecision at the Forest Service. We should talk to them about that. Maybe we can do something. And then the other was, didn't we have trouble getting that declared a disaster? Seemed like we had trouble getting FEMA money. I can't remember all that, but we should talk to them about the federal disaster was not declared for that.
Yeah, those are great recommendations. I've included when our grant manager, grant manager on that, since, it's the fire, then the flood, landslide afterwards, that there's multiple disasters out there that we're trying to see FEMA running through, and kind of highlighting where in that process, we want changed so that it's a big process to get like, how can we make that smoother, and are there any things that we're looking for money for that aren't currently eligible?
Yeah, I think going forward, it would be a really good ball carrier for us on that kind of an issue, much better than we have in the past. So, keeping them aware of, these things happen in small places, and Alpine County is not very populated, but, it hit pretty hard.
Yeah, those are great recommendations.
We want to remind them that we do have an outstanding FEMA mitigation application for soil stabilization project, a little over $2 million out there. And I'm not sure if they can help us to speed that up or not, but I mean, it's really, the delay has really been due to the multiple disasters that have taken place in California. Because in years past, mitigation money didn't take nearly as long to get as it does now, but we'll definitely bring it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then for the 31st, just so you know, I will be down for that.
All right, let's go to 9B, General Counsel Transition Update. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, good afternoon. I've been in contact with the prior attorney for transferring all of the district's legal files. We have identified certain matters that will be prioritized so that we can get those sooner rather than later. As you can imagine, with the volume of the files, electronic transfer is probably the way we're going to make this transfer. That will take some time, but we are in the process of making the files and moving the transition along. So that's the basis of my update today, and something more to say. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, just a quick staff update. We have posted an underground water repair position. That was to fill a vacancy due to a transfer from underground repair water up to operations. We did fill a seasonal pumps position to help out the crews, so that's been taken care of. I think we did announce last time that we had filled the grant coordinator position, but we hadn't announced at that point who it was. And now we can. There's a woman by the name of Danielle Morse. She actually has a lot of experience in the district in a couple of different positions in some past roles. The last several years, she's been operating her own accounting business, but has decided to come back for the district, and so we're excited about that. And then next week, soon after Liz comes back, we intend to begin the recruitment for the CFO position. And I'm going to do the PCE plume update before the major projects report. So we haven't heard anything regarding the Southwide PCE plume for a while. We did receive a call from Gary Kivistad informing us that he had been contacted by an attorney for the State Water Resource Control Board. That attorney said that we should expect a call from an attorney that represents Lake Tahoe Laundry Works, which has been identified as the responsible party for the plume. They said they wanted to talk to us, and assuming the other water purveyors, Lukens and the Keys, about a potential settlement with us. And the reason that came up is because Lahontan has issued to them a cleanup and abatement order, but they have told Lahontan that if they're required to fulfill the requirements of that cleanup and abatement order as is, they are going to litigate. And we all know that can take years to get through. So if they do contact us, we're happy to listen. I'm not really sure why we would accept something less than what Lahontan is requiring, unless, as I said to you guys earlier, it allows us just to get something done without waiting years to get through litigation first. So that's all we know at this point, and but we'll definitely keep you updated if we hear anything.
Plan is you and counsel will get on the phone with that attorney for the defendants.
Well, we don't know yet when that attorney is going to contact us, so they may just contact us first out of the blue, and then we can get something scheduled, hopefully. Yeah.
So at this point, you're just going to hear them out.
Yep.
And we can have a closed session update on that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the fiscal year 23-24 major project and general manager goals. So during the last board meeting, you had asked me to bring forward what I thought were the major projects that need to be completed this fiscal year, which we're already a month and a half into. And also look at the general manager goals to kind of balance the priorities between the two. I actually did go through all of the general manager goals, and I handed them out to you. So you can take a look at that at a later time. And I put in red there comments next to each one of them, whether they've been completed, they're ongoing, they're under development, or if they're recommended to be pushed out, or something. The majority has actually already been done, so staff has done a fantastic job in moving these forward, and I think that by the end of 2023, most of them will be done, but there will be some that will be pushed over due to the other major goals that need to be completed by the end of this fiscal year. and I'll go down this list. One, recruit for the CFO, address vacant operational management positions, which you've also heard as the reorg analysis, and I want to come back to that. Negotiating labor contracts, complete compensation study, we have issued an RFP for that. Developing a board desired level capital improvement plan, and completing new 5-year water and sewer rate studies to fund those plans. We have spoken to Sean Corn and asked him to submit a proposal for those rate studies. Issue new multi-year Prop 22 notice and hold associated public meetings, and then continue the discussions with TKPOA over potential consolidation. So, for me, those are the basics that we just need to continue working on this year. So, talking about the vacant operational management positions, it's my understanding, because I have not been involved really in these discussions, but it's my understanding that there was actually a board committee assigned to this project. Is that anybody else's understanding?
The executive committee was.
Well, it was brought forward to the executive committee. Okay.
No, I think it was kind of.
Yeah.
And then, let me change. So, but when John submitted his resignation, we said, okay, just bring it to a plateau and then button it up, and let the new GM pick it up.
Okay, good. This is not going to be on the org. Just possibly some minor reporting structural changes. I'm definitely not intending to ask for new management positions. I'm really just planning to fill 2 vacant management positions with some possible modifications to the job descriptions, which potentially could have an impact on their reporting structure. But in my opinion, the story there is significant enough to call it a reorganization. And I kind of wish that that term had never actually been thrown out when we were talking about this, because I think it may have caused some unnecessary anxiety over the last several months. And because of that, you know, it's definitely my recommendation that these positions just be filled under the standard general manager care and responsibilities. I don't think we need a board committee to really go over these. I think I would prefer to work with my management team to figure out the best way to fill these as soon as possible.
Yeah, just to clarify, the reorg or whatever was not a board-driven initiative. This is management-driven, and at least in my view, management of the staff, that's your ballgame. And if you need more money, then you got to come to the board.
Okay.
So
you won't hear that too often.
yeah. So, but you know, those kind of that's your decision. You cover that. Okay, that's what the board members have.
Okay, I agree.
If there are, you know, specific issues and you want advice from the board, come to us and ask. But we're not the greatest management advisors. There's just a real policy for that. So
We'll get on it.
okay, sounds good. On the rate study, just what we talked about before, that this year we're going to actually look at different rate zones, different, not just a flat rate for everybody in the water and flat rate for everybody in the sewer, that we would look at different tariff zones.
I did bring that up to the consultant, so he would be prepared for that. And I want for him to provide a recommendation on whether he thinks that's an appropriate structure for us based on that. There's not many around here that do that, but one that I did point him to that I know that does do that is EID, because of their elevation changes also.
Yeah. That's good. All right.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Item 11, past and future meetings are noted, and that I will notify you. The 9/7 board meeting, I will not be here, so Shane, you'll have to go.
Okay.
And, looks like with that, we are going to go into the closed session. We're only discussing 12B in closed session.
You're close yet. Just real quick, I'm sorry, I didn't remind you because you said you're not going to be here next board meeting. We are intending to cancel the second board meeting in September because there were going to be some other obstacles. And so we put out that message to staff so they're prepared to skip that meeting.
The second.
Yeah, the second meeting in September.
So,
We had a long meeting on the seventh.
Yeah. You'll have my talk.
all right. Very good. We're going to close session for other 12B.
We're out of closed session. We have nothing to
What are your plans?
Well, any about this one,
Those are just the published versions of the project.